Hey, kiddo. You look sleepy. Come on, climb onto the couch. Your man was just watching this nature documentary. I found these really interesting ones on YouTube. And surprise, surprise, I've been binge watching them all night. I think it's my new guilty pleasure. Either way, you just close your eyes and sleep, right?
On a rather cold,
I'll be here
windy
with you.
night, we followed the journeys of two vastly different animals. At first glance, the polar bear and the penguin have little in common. They share a home in the icy wilderness, yet beyond that, their similarities seem to end.
They both do like the cold.
However, this particular pair share one other thing in common. They both are outcasts.
Oh no.
Matilda approaches a rather boisterous group of bears. It seems it's been a while she's made a friend. She musters up the courage inside her and boldly places herself in the center stage of the conversation.
That is quite bold.
And without hesitation, the other bears turn away, leaving her behind. Matilda's left with confusion. She sits by herself, pondering whether she'd made a fool of herself. Similarly, Humbert scurries along to his parents. They seem to be engrossed in conversation, leaving poor Humbert behind. His short stature making it hard for him to keep pace.
Oh,
He stands still, wondering if they realized they had left him behind.
oh, but
Unfortunately for poor Humbert, they didn't. He was left alone with his thoughts, just like poor Matilda. In the night, the two fall asleep in their respective homes. And yet, though miles apart, both creatures gazed upon the same moon.
I'm poetic.
If they only knew, would they still feel alone? In the morning, Matilda awakens from her deep slumber. With a pep in her step, she is determined to once again try her hand at meeting new people.
You go, Matilda.
Her older bear cub greets her along the way. It's been a while since the two had spoken. Once a cub grows up, they have their own duties to attend to.
Don't we all?
It's hard for Matilda to accept that fact. She gives her son a playful bite, but inside, she can't help but feel conflicted. After Matilda goes on her own way, she stops by the ocean. She stares deeply into it. Is this what being a mother feels like? She was always expected to have a child, but she thought it would at least help her feel less lonely.
Oh,
Oh, how wrong she had been. Somehow, she feels much lonelier than she had been from the start. On the other side of the ocean, Humbert awakens. He carefully grooms himself, making sure to look presentable for his meetup today. He waddles along to his group, waving and greeting the others. No one takes notice of him, and they continue walking along.
how could they?
He feels a pang of guilt and shame in his heart. He was short, but was he really that invisible to the others? Humbert follows along behind his mother. Today, the group must hunt for fish. It's Humbert's first time, and he aims to please. Perhaps if he catches the biggest one, he can catch the eye of the others.
I believe in you, Humbert.
The group hurls around the ocean side, and as if on cue, they all dive in. Humbert stumbles around before he too dives in.
You got this.
We see the group shooting through the waves, snapping and swallowing any fish that crosses their path. Despite feeling awkward at first, Humbert finds a natural rhythm. His worries leave his head as he's underwater. It almost feels like he's in a whole new world, a world where he can just be.
I knew you could do it.
Humbert separates from the group, looking to find fish of his own. He swims deep and finds a myriad of fish and many, many other sea creatures.
That's stunning.
In the meanwhile, we see Matilda lazing about on the snow. She seems to be bored. She shuts her eyes, slowly aiming for an afternoon nap. An albatross stops nearby and curiously looks towards Matilda. Matilda's eyes open, and they meet each other's gazes with curiosity.
Look, kiddo. They meet each other.
Suddenly, Matilda finds a reason to wake up. She attempts to make a friend. She paws at the albatross, but it seems to startle him. He hesitates, giving her a second chance, but Matilda blows it once again. Her afternoon seems to be ruined. Now that she's scared that albatross away, she sighs and goes to the ocean. Looking at her
Aw.
reflection, she paws at the water in frustration. It seems even polar bears can get frustrated with themselves. To make up for her silly mistake, she walks into the ocean, bobbing in the water. She finds a chunk of ice and playfully pushes it around. For the first time in a long time, Matilda is having fun. Even though she has no one by her side, she finds a bit of joy in this little piece of ice. Matilda soon has her lunch. She feeds on the fish she has easily caught. As she gazes upon the ocean, she spots a group of penguins swimming together in the distance. She wonders what it must feel like to be a part of something big.
Look at her, there's hope.
Is it nice to feel surrounded by others all the time? She shakes her head. No, it must be bothersome sometimes. Still, she can't help but think, would life have been easier if she were not a polar bear? Would things have been better if she were born a penguin? As the sun begins to set, Matilda meets up with her son once again. This time, he brings his children along. She feeds the young cub some of the fish she had caught earlier. Matilda decides to tag along with her son. It's been a while since she had last seen the mother of his children. Despite being fully grown, the two still do not compare to Matilda's size. It reminds her of her age, of how wise she has grown over the years.
Yeah, Matilda, a unit.
Almost everyone treats Matilda with respect, yet she feels undeserving of it. How can you respect someone when they're just as lost as anyone else? Matilda doesn't have the answers to cure her loneliness. How can someone see her as wise when she feels just as uncertain as everyone else?
You gotta believe, Matilda.
She pushes those thoughts to the back of her mind and takes the young cubs to the ocean's edge. She shows them the new game she has grown fond of, pushing the chunk of ice. The cubs play along, happily passing the ice chunk between them as their parents watch. As night falls, Humbert climbs out of the ocean, feeling a new sense of joy. Finding a passion for swimming has taught him that there is more to this world than he had thought. But this happiness was short lived. He looks around and realizes the group has left him.
Oh no.
Shaking the water from his feathers, he quietly waddles his way back home. He finds his mother and father sleeping soundly. It is time for him to sleep as well.
Oof.
And yet, despite knowing that, he hesitates. Humbert is growing up, and for the first time, he wants to have fun on his own. Stepping away from his home, he walks quite a distance until he stumbles upon two penguins from his group. They seem to be about his age, happily squawking to each other. Humbert's not sure why, but something inside him gives him courage. He steps forward, leaving behind his shame and fear. The two penguins welcome him into the conversation happily. Despite his initial nervousness, Humbert feels joy.
Ah,
At
yes.
last, he has finally connected with someone,
At
even
last.
if it's just for tonight. On the other side of the ocean, Matilda sits by the seaside, gazing at her reflection. She takes a deep breath, looking up at the stars. Something about tonight feels different. It's just the same as any other night. But when she looks into her reflection, she sees something new. Maybe she realizes she doesn't need all the answers right now. She doesn't need to be all knowing. She doesn't need to be the perfect mother. Matilda is just Matilda.
Just be Matilda.
Something about thinking that way makes her feel at peace. She does not need anyone else to prove that she is worth something. She can sit by herself and believe it on her own. Matilda and Humbert had two very different nights, and yet the feeling they shared was the same. They both looked up at the twinkling stars and felt just a little less alone, knowing that someone else is looking at them too.
was one heck of a video. I hope those two realize that it's not always that lonely. It just feels that way sometimes. But hey, kiddo, makes me want to watch another one. Let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, this one looks interesting.
In today's episode, we follow Lula, a stray independent cat. Lula was born in one of the biggest cities here, and just like everyone else in the city, she has dreams.
Don't we all?
Perhaps her dreams were one of the most straightforward ones here, the dream to survive and have a full belly. Lula wakes up from her slumber. Despite sleeping in a garbage container, she seems to have had the beauty sleep she had needed. She does her daily ritual, cleaning herself from the night's filth. With her morning ritual complete, she leaps out of the container and lands onto the pavement below. The city is already alive and bustling.
And so is she.
To an outsider, the city could be overwhelming, but Lula's used to this world. She walks through it with ease, darting through hidden alleyways to reach places she has to be.
Oh, she's so
She
quick.
spends most of her days playing with rats, chasing them through alleys just for fun. They're not food, not to her. She's a well fed stray. Instead, they're something to pass the time. But more often than not, Lula finds herself at a particular local coffee shop. Unlike other strays who loiter outside, poking around for food, Lula is different. She performs for her feed.
Ah, hunting grounds.
Every afternoon, as the coffee shop fills with customers, Lula arrives. She doesn't just walk in, she makes an entrance. She knows the regulars, and they know her. Lula stops in front of a table, carefully choosing her audience. She then stands on her hind legs, with her paws in the air, in a rather impressive stance. The barista, Tina, steps outside the counter to greet Lula. She crouches down and holds out her fingers. Lula eyes them for a moment before she makes her move.
She pounces.
She stretches out a paw and Tina takes it. They shake hands. The customers are easily impressed, ready to take pictures of Lula. And as expected, her payment arrives.
Ah, there it is.
A tray plate for Lula, cat food, a bite of smoked salmon, and a tiny cube of cheese, carefully placed on the ground just for her. Lula eats with grace, never too greedy, always making it seem as though she is simply accepting what she is due. This is her job after all, and she does it well. Lula isn't just known around the coffee shop, she is known all across the area, and she has a route she follows every day. She stops by the bookstore, where she takes a warm nap by the windowsill. The owners pay her no mind, but the customers coo and pet her. It's a win-win for both Lula and the owners.
She's a marketing genius.
And then there's the newspaper stand. The old man who runs it never acknowledges her, but every morning there's always a tiny dish of milk left near the curb. He never says a word, and Lula never thanks him, but the routine is understood. With her belly full, Lula takes her time strolling through the quieting streets. The city doesn't sleep, but it does slow down. The rush of the morning and afternoon is gone, replaced with a soft chatter and dim streetlights. She could go back to her usual sleeping spot, but tonight she decides to explore.
Ah, adventurous.
She moves like a shadow, slipping through alleyways, climbing atop parked cars, and jumping onto ledges that offer a perfect view of the city. She watches the people below, some hurrying home, others walking hand in hand, and a few, like her, simply existing in the night. Eventually, she finds a rooftop where a warm wind hums slowly. She curls up against it, feeling the warmth seep into her fur. Tomorrow, she will wake up again. She will do her routine and earn the scraps that she gets, because Lula is not just a stray. She's a performer, and in her own way, a star.
Lula is the best. Best cat, Lula. So, what do you think, kiddo? I think those are some beautiful little stories. When you sit to really think about it, Everyone around you, every person, every animal, they've got their own tale going for them, their own worries, their own priorities. I think it's beautiful to just take a moment and kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes, don't you think? No, who am I talking to? You're already fast asleep. All right, let me take you straight to your room. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you have the sweetest dreams ever. Good night, kiddo.